We got a 6v6 on Forged Alliance Forever. These are some of the best players on Forged Alliance Forever today. This is Rivers. You can see it's a massive battlefield here. One mountain in the middle. 4 players on the bottom here. 2 players on a higher plateau. Both players in the back here are Aeon, Uber Geek, and Curry Smuggler. In the back here we got Eisen and Skillsat 99X, also Aeon and Cybern. So I won't go through all the players in the beginning, that's just too much. So while players are going, it looks like a lot of land here. Only one air from this bottom team. You might see some early bombers. Land, all land here from the top team. Very strange for Forged Alliance Forever. So the great thing about Forged Alliance Forever, very friendly players if you're a new player. You see all these names up here, talk to them, ask them to teach you. They can get you up to speed to start playing on these maps. Of course, this usually does take a pretty good connection and a nice computer. So as long as you have those two things, people will take care of you. Now we're seeing some early raiding, at least attempts to, from Monkey Fun. A mech marine is coming in. This is a very vulnerable position here. If you can sneak some units behind, some expanding mass extractors. We're not really seeing any NGs here from Mac yet. He is sending an early NG to these chunks of mass. You can see, very valuable. Also see some Selines. These do go stealthy after 4 seconds of standing still. And doesn't look like too much raiding from the bottom side. And of course here we have 2 rivers, hence the name of the map, Twin Rivers. And this will be some drops trying to take over these positions, which can be very valuable. I see Mac being pretty aggressive with the ACU, pushing forward. And here we see Mech Marines taking over this mass field. It's a good work from Freshie and Mac. Of course this Mech Marine is still back here. It says Sup Gulls, and it is already has 2 kills. Now we're seeing a drop coming in from Skillsat. First drop of the game. It's going over to this, actually 2 drops. So you see Eisen and Skillsat being very aggressive. We do see drops coming in from Uber Geek and who's that back player, Curry. But you already see the establishment of radar plus some factories. If you can get a factory first on your expansion, you're in a very good shape. You can start producing many more units. Plus a bomber here from Skillsat. And you can see how quickly those NGs, right after they got dropped off, they were destroyed. Another drop coming in, this time from Freshie. Not too much fighting yet. We see 2 ACUs here, Raging and Rock. 2 extremely good players from the top side. They're upgrading each other's ACU. When we see a big push, they are facing Maverick, who is surprisingly Cybern. He's usually UEF. But 1 Cybern ACU versus 2 Seraphims, that's a pretty bad position to be in if you're Maverick. Now we see a pretty massive push from Mac. It's a bunch of T1. These are just tanks, but not too much in their way. There is an ACU from Mr. Matty, but it doesn't look like these factories are producing much. They're just being constructed, which seems strange. Now we're seeing these fights on the side, and it does look like Skillsat is going to have no problems. A drop from Uber Geek, which he changed his mind. He's not going to attempt to fight. On the other island we got Eisen versus Curry. It's a little more even. We see multiple factories from both players, and these ores are pushing in. A wall being constructed by Mental Diversion. This ACU is at T2, so a couple T2 PDs here. Actually we see Raging and Rock being very defensive against the Cybern ACU, which is very strange. It could have definitely pushed a little further. We might see a fire base. Yeah, we actually see a T2 PD here from 6 kills from Mental Diversion. And yeah, it does look like because Eisen did drop a little earlier, had a few more factories, is going to be able to take over. So it looks like the bottom side is going to have both expansion bases across the rivers. First naval being constructed now by Raging. Appears he is going T2 with his navy right away. A few Seraphim cruisers, extremely powerful in one of these rivers. You can really control air plus a lot of bombardment against these navies. So it appears that this is going to be a no-man's land for a while. Both teams constructing Tech 2 PD, so Tech 1 is basically suicide to go into this field. Unless you're going really far on the side, which Mental Diversion looks to be doing, but Raging is moving his units. It's very even numbers here. Just going to stare at each other. Multiple drops, attempts from Ubergeek. He really does not want to give up this land, but it's going to be very difficult. You can see as soon as these engines are dropped off, they have to fight tanks. It's a really a pointless proposition. Pretty massive force, a whole bunch of flares. This is a great way to give veterancy to your opponents if you attack ACUs with that type of force. But we do have Monkey Fun here playing. Actually, we'd see a nice push from Maverick, a whole bunch of tanks, and they're actually going to be successful at pushing Tag Rock back. Rock does have a Tech 2 ACU with the gun, so you're not going to go past that ACU with a bunch of T1. So a successful push from Maverick against Raging and Rock. He does have the gun and the stealth upgrade on his ACU. So if you don't look at health, he has extremely good ACU. Now we're seeing a whole bunch of air from Ubergeek. We might see a first massive air fight of the game between Skillzat and Ubergeek. And probably both players don't want to fight over the opponent, especially at Tech 1, very susceptible to Tech 1 flak, and we do see some Tech 1 from Mental. And now it looks like they're rebuilding this shields from Rock and Squirrel. They do have the Seraphim shields, give them a pretty good advantage. The UEFPD is slightly better, especially when there's bumps in the way. A stealth generator from Mental Diversion. And Rock is making these missile launchers, which can outrange Tech 2 PDs, a great counter to these PDs from Mental Diversion. And now we do see that cruiser minute 11 from Raging. This unit here is going to get massive amount of kills. It is already launching missiles. And this is a drop of a bunch of Auroras. We're going to see Auroras versus cruiser. This is actually very creative here from Skillzat. But if we see what's the next unit? A frigate. Yeah, a frigate is going to be a very nice counter to those Auroras. And now we're seeing yet another push from Mental Diversion. But that is going to be suicidal. Now double shields plus stealth, Tech 1 PD, and ACU gun. There's really no way to do anything about that. You see Maverick actually just got taken out by some Mercy, so wandered off, and he said some very nice things. So he wandered off with his ACU without any protection and got taken out right away. Willing to bet that that was Ubergeek. Yeah, so it looks like this game they're playing without base gives. So this is Mav's old base, a whole bunch of wrecks. Pretty valuable for his allies. And now we do see this cruiser now. It's 9 kills with a couple frigates taking out the Auroras. So protection for this cruiser. Has very good anti-air, but you could take it out with a few torpedo bombers. .37 kills for Rock's ACU. That's what you get when you have the gun upgrade. Mr. Maddie has been defeated. Where is Mr. Maddie? I guess it's he's right there. So after building a whole bunch of factories and not really doing much, Mr. Maddie has left the game. That gives Monkey an opportunity to take over a whole bunch of free mass, but there is a multicolored force from Freshie and Mac moving in. Some T2 here, some Mongoose. Looks like Monkey mostly only has T1. He is trying to push back. Some Tech 2 gunships from Ubergeek. Extremely powerful in this version of the game. We are seeing some Tech 1 Air here from Skillsat. This is actually Tech 2 Air, Swift Winds. This is all A on Tech 2 on Tech 2 now. It does look like Ubergeek is going to have the numbers. However, those gunships are taken out, so successful defense of this Tech 2 force. It would have been really nice to see at least a single Tech 2 flak. We do see some Tech 1 flak. And now we're seeing Monkey's base is under some threat. And Rock actually walking around with Tech 2 anti-air closely behind his ACU. Looks like Rock is going to make this base his own. He already has one over here. And this attempt to make Navy from some Cybern player here, it has been unsuccessful. See 12 kills for this cruiser, another cruiser constructed at 4 kills. Some Tech 2 now this expansion base, some shields, plus some tactical missile defense. Cybern have extremely good tactical missile defense. Also some tactical missile defense here from UEF. They're not as good, but they'll still do a job against the Seraphim. And we're seeing missile launcher fight. These have massive advantage because they're under a shield. I've seen Maverick's old base cleaned up quite nicely. Actually going straight to Tech 2 mass extractors. It's a good move from Rock. You don't waste extra mass. Although that's only a very small amount of mass that you save. Unless you build them directly on Seraphim Rex. So that's actually not unless you build these extremely fast, which actually he is. If you build them faster than about 40 seconds, that's the only time you really win anything by doing that. A Freshy getting multiple upgrades. He does have a shield. This is a very good looking ACU. Looks like it's Tech 3 ACU with the gun and the shield. So he's ready to do battle here. He's making multiple T3 anti-air, which is slightly cheaper in this version of the game. We also see some torpedo planes. These are Aeon torpedo planes from Skillsat, and then this is going to be a problem. You can see UEF TMD trying to do the job, but already getting hit by some missiles. We're seeing those torpedo planes are going to move in. You can see they only get one pass against the cruiser, and that's something that happens to Aeon. They cannot drop their torpedoes in very shallow water. If this was Cybern UEF, this would be a different story. So really the angle of attack with Aeon is much more important. These 3 cruisers are going to be a massive problem. Gunship team from Ubergeek, and this does seem to be a pattern in the later 3603 games, is just all gunships. Gunships are so powerful. Really T2 air, extremely well used. Now we're seeing some T3 Arty, it seems, from some player here. Yes, so these are sniper bots. These are T3 Seraphim. Pretty long range. You can try to snipe some of these ACU with them. And we are seeing some Tech 3 Arty shells. Here's the Tech 3 Arty. So this standoff should be won by Raging and Rock. See some attempts at drops, run into a cloud of anti-air. Get shot very quickly. And this Navy really becoming a massive problem. We already see 3 cruisers here. 12 kills, 24, 3. 4th cruiser coming in now from Raging. Massive problem. It's really not much you can do with air here unless you go T3 gunship with a whole bunch of T3 gunships. Maybe some Arty here. T3 Arty would be able to solve this problem. Not much otherwise. We've seen T3, these are Titans, but are pretty well countered by Monkey. He has built a whole bunch of T2PD that are going to cut off this passageway. We're seeing Tech 1 versus T2. and these Titans are getting through. They should run into Rock's ACU, although Rock is no longer there. He's walking back to his base. And Mental Diversion's base has been completely demolished by these 4 cruisers, the 5th one coming in. So big problems. A drop, some arty from Freshie, and you can see these Titans really ran through this Tech 1 Forcer now, attacking Monkey's base once again. They're countered by T2 gunships. So that's what you get for controlling air, at least over your own base. And now we're seeing T3 air from Freshie. Very expensive in this version. Run through a whole bunch of flak. Oh no, actually these gunships run away wrong direction. But yeah, these T2 gunships lived long enough to kill off all this T3 from, I think it was Freshie, right? We're seeing Freshie making T3 arty. These are the UEF T3 arty. Might see a nice standoff here between Mac and Monkey Fun. This is nice to have this mountain. You can have 2 separate standoffs, but as soon as you get a little past here, if Mac is successful, we might see these something like T3 arty from here shoot over this hill against those shields. And now we're seeing something like a massive T2 gunship, and this is what cruisers provide for you. They provide basically a no-go zone for your opponent's air, so you can really put a lot of your air here. It'll be very safe, and begin attacking with your gunships, and if they get attacked, you just go back over your cruisers. And I can see these gunships are going to kill anything that hasn't been killed by these cruisers yet, like that missile launcher, power storage. Now we're seeing Eisen moving in with his air. It is just T1 air versus T2, and really not much. A drop now from Tag Rock. And these are T3, these are the Othams, Seraphim, T3 tanks. So, yeah, so whatever the gunships didn't get, these will definitely get. And actually it dropped directly into Eisen's base if this is successful. And this is going to be extremely close, only 90 health left on this transport. Big loss for Eisen, and actually Eisen is going to move his ACU. Probably better just go over there and overcharge those as a T3 ACU, but he is going to make T2 PD instead. You can see these Othams are going to get a whole bunch of kills from here. You can see a response from Freshie, but this is all Tech 1 flak. It's all going to be vet for these tanks. So you can see Mental Diversion has completely lost his base, but he's still got something still got a few shields and a few units, but he can't really do much more. And this is probably turning into a pretty big standoff with Monkey, multiple shields, Tech 2, PD. He is getting hit by a whole bunch of T3 arty here. So Freshie and Mac doing a good job. More T2 shields from Monkey. So if Monkey loses that base, we might see a little better, more even action. And you can see here Eisen having to make a whole bunch of TMD. So raging with these cruisers is really the story of this game. We are seeing Tech 3 air now from Ubergeek. You can see the construction from Ubergeek on this Tech 3 air factory. You can see multiple Tech 3 power generators, and that's what you have to do if you want T3 air. He is using nearly 10,000 power, but he's producing 12,000. Actually in pretty big negative here. He's getting something very expensive, which is a second resource allocation upgrade on the ACU. So whoever said Seraphim cruisers are weak was wrong. These are very powerful units. And actually, oh my god, Raging really went into a navy. This is only minute 25. This is a battleship. This is going to be a very big problem. So this is going to die, this is going to die, and a lot of Eisen's base is also going to die. Plus this thing can make nukes. We do see Monkey Lord, a spider bot from Eisen, and it is waiting to go in. Actually, also a Fatty. So this makes the game very interesting because we don't really see too much experimentals from the top side, and Monkey's base is in danger of getting wiped out. This is the proper micro. Fatty stays behind, does some pouting. Spider's going to get a whole bunch of veterancy. It does have stealth, so it gets shot only when it gets into visual range. And Monkey is running. He's got to run. We might see mercies from Ubergeek. And you see Spider did lose some health, but going to get a lot of veterancy, get some of that health back. This Fatty is sitting under a shield. So this battleship is attacking. Yeah, so if you can break mental here, you can start attacking directly on ground. We do see an air fight that it appears. Very close. For whatever reason, we see kills that running away, and that's really not something you want to do with T3 air. But a lot of T3 anti-air here from Freshie, really helping out. And here the Spider does retreat. Just going to use the Fatty to bombard Monkey's base. So good things happening for the left side team. Okay, second battleship. So Raging is pretty crazy here. 2 battleships. And now the Spider is trying to get it. It just needs 5 more kills and going to get a lot more health. You can see this Fatty is now going to bombard this base from Raging and tag Rock. Actually, Rock has been sitting at his base as well as Raging. And actually, Monkey getting hit by a whole bunch of T3 Arty as well as the Fatty. It is a T3 ACU with the gun. Not a good place to be for Monkey. Plus he's got a Titan looking. There are some shields coming in, plus some Harveys. Now Monkey's got to keep retreating. We do see some flak and a whole bunch of mercies coming in now from Curry. And this could be the end. Actually, only some of those got through. We did see a whole bunch of anti-air from Freshie. T3 anti-air, very good counter to mercies. So only 2 mercies hit the shield. So you can see a whole bunch of Arty plus the Fatty moving in, shooting from far away, plus these Titans moving in to spot. Excellent micro from these units. 51 kills on this Monkey. Also being very careful because of this mercy threat. More mercies coming in. See Eisen coming in with his, and you can see how close that was. T3 air, and those mercies just fired off just in time. And elsewhere, it's strange these battleships aren't getting nearly as much as you might expect. It looks like they're going against this Eisen's base, which has a bunch of shields, but not long left for that base. Actually retreating. Oh, now we see a GC on Rock, a Monkey shields. Oh yeah, so full retreat now for Freshie and Eisen. Not much you can do, and Mac probably should think about either shields or a full retreat as well. And it's nice to see shields here. So GC more powerful than either of these experimentals. Strange, Eisen deciding to fight before he got to the shields. And let's see how much damage he actually does. Not much. And there goes the spider bot. And the GC is going to keep moving through. Mac is retreating. Fatty isn't shooting for some reason. Also see some loyalists. Now we might see some mercies maybe from the bottom side now. We do see Strat Bombers from Freshie. And a massive Navy that I completely missed from skills. He is making, looks like a missile shield, a missile ship. That's going to be very nice. And actually this GC, this is a very even air fight. But it looks like it is going to go to the top team. GC had 17 kills. Getting hit by the Fatty. Skills that has a pretty massive air force. He is sending mercies at this GC. So it looks like Aeon is pretty much a must, given how powerful these mercies are, either to snipe ACUs, as we saw with Maverick, as well as defensive against experimentals. You can see this is still a 5-on-5, and here we go. This Eisen's expansion base is gone. Now these battleships might begin shooting at this fire base from Mental and Freshie. We are seeing T3PD here, and the GC is retreating. If it wasn't for these shields from Monkey, this GC would have been dead a long time ago. The missile ship has been constructed. This is a very rapid fire missile launcher. It can overwhelm most tactical missile defenses. Extremely long range. It's viable against experimentals. You can see Monkey here is going to spam a whole bunch of tactical missile defense, but UEF tactical missile defense is pretty much a joke against a missile ship. We see the Fatty actually moving back from Freshie. It's about to get its shield back. A whole bunch of T3 arty from Freshie as well. So a very tough battle. Very well played by Freshie. He's playing all sides here, and he is doing a T3 PD creep. This is something where you don't want to send your experimentals. We do see a chicken here from Raging, but this is going to be very vulnerable to all these cruisers plus these battleships, and you can see a drop now from Raging. He's going to take over this island. Now we're actually seeing mercies. Oh, this is awesome. This GC just went on water and killed off this missile ship. And we did see mercies attack this shipyard. Now we see more of them coming in. T3 Air does take them out. It's still very close. Another missile ship has been constructed, so in FAF you can see all these wrecks. They don't go underwater. It's massive amount of mass here. Massive amount of mass. That's exactly what it is. This Fatty's back for more, already 94 kills. Should see more experimentals here, but we don't. And now we see it. Maybe these battleships want to hit at Eisen's base, and Eisen is nearly done with the megalith. This would be very interesting against this navy, given that this navy doesn't have much range to run, and a megalith extremely powerful. And this T3 PD creep seems to be working. The shields are losing, are getting knocked down. Actually, this totally missed that. Chicken just walked in here, got killed. It went on the other side of this mountain. And more pushing from this Fatty. It's 103 kills, 4 stars. And this missile ship actually is still 0 kills. Doesn't look like these battleships are attacking the same target. They are going against Freshie's ACU. Need a lot more shields here. It's actually a nice placement of this Fatty and Monkey going with his ACU. Going to get T2PD. Get some firepower. We do see some Percy's moving in now, but so much shields. So many shields, UEF and Aeon. Strat Bombers coming in against Monkey now from Freshie. That was very successful. Monkey's got to be careful, but with all those shields he shouldn't die. Already seen this missile ship. Still has 0 kills, attempting to fire over all these TMD. So I've been bashing UEF TMD, but I guess if you have more than 10, they do get the job done. And now here comes the megalith. These cruisers might die, so that's another thing to put on the list to counter your cruisers, is a megalith. We are seeing some T3 already shooting from Raging Squirrel. 115 kills now from the fatty. And always got to be mindful when you're doing this, because if you suddenly lose air here, which appears that Uber Geek has 1 air over this fatty, you're completely susceptible to mercies, because it's been shown that T2 and T1 mobile flak is absolutely not a counter to mercies, unless if you're pushing with this fatty you want to have your flak way ahead, but that's pretty much impossible when you're using the experimentals in this way. But now there's a bigger problems. There's a GC coming. This one belongs to looks like rock, and this fatty's got to run. And another chicken here. And here comes the megalith. You can see these cruisers have been retreating. It looks like 2 of them have been lost. And this hero fatty, 126 kills, is chased down. It's a massive wall of shields now. Three kills. Yeah, this is completely susceptible to mercies at this point. I mean, absolutely no flak or anything in this area. No shields, so a few more mercies and that ship is killed by Ubergeek. So yeah, you gotta put flak right here if you want it to counter and protect this ship. Of course, any flak here would be immediately destroyed by this T3PD, so it's impossible for the ship to be here unless you have total air domination. You're seeing a GC coming in now from Freshy. It is going to go under these shields, and it appears to be it's going to be a win for rock. Massive amount of shields. So probably a little too aggressive with that GC, but another chicken is going to clean this up. And actually this megalith having to retreat against these battleships. Megas don't shoot backwards. The shield's surprisingly still alive. I guess it's been hard to do this creep with the battleships shooting at you. And now we are seeing it's basically a fight of the shields. You can see Rock choosing to shoot sideways. The shields are coming back. Now this is just ridiculous. This is seriously ridiculous. This is way too many shields. Surprising that ship's still alive at 7 kills. Five kills for this GC, 19 for the other. And it looks like Fresh is moving in against these shields. He's going to try to stomp on them. You also see a whole bunch of flak here, and it looks like a snipe attempt. This GC did get out of the way. A whole bunch of flak coming in from rocks, going to give any air fight a huge advantage. We are seeing mercies coming in now from Skillsat. We do see a chicken plus a megalith. So there goes Fresh's GC, but Rock's GC will most likely retreat now. Cannot take on two experimentals. Amazing mental diversion still alive under these shields, but not for long. We do see a chicken here from Raging is just sitting there. It's a nice RT installation. A whole bunch of RT actually. Now multiple missile ships. We do see actually a cruiser here, so I guess this is how you counter mercies when you're on water. So maybe that's why I've been begging for the ship to be mercied, but here comes a cruiser. We are seeing multiple missile snipe attempts coming from this direction. It appears to be Rock. He's got a nice, it looks like 8 missile launchers in a row. Definitely viable versus immobile experimentals. And there goes Chicken. Hey, that's nice. I've never seen Megas actually creeping back like that. These battleships, I don't know if they're getting nukes yet, but they're definitely pounding this position. And another Chicken being constructed now by Mac. He has the other Chicken, very aggressive. And these missile volleys keep on coming in from Rock. Some NGs here from Eisen. Very nice NGs. Gonna get that free mass. Now we are seeing the Chicken versus GC, and this GC has massive shield support. And also very nice to see a whole bunch of snipers. Very weak in terms of health, but shoot from far away and cause a lot of damage. So one thing to note, only 2 cruisers left. So these battleships are susceptible to air attack, something like a Mercy Snap, and actually we do see this hill. The Mercy's going over a hill seem to have an advantage. So if you can take out those cruisers with something else, and actually these shields are getting knocked down. Another interesting thing to do would be to drop a bunch of RD on this island, absolutely no protection. So if you like 2 T2 transports full of RD, knock down a lot of investment from raging. And these missile ships completely countered by this TMD. Maybe if they shot from here, because I bet you they have a huge range. So skills, you can see how big that range is. They're shooting from here. Well, looks like they do want to hit Monkey's base. And this Mega is moving in. 25 kills. And that appears to be a whole bunch of arty shots. We did just see a nuke. This one's from Ubergeek. It's minute 39. It might be going up against this Mega. So let's see what that nuke does. It's way up there. We see a whole bunch of Strat bombers. And this nuke is still not really clear from this angle. Oh, it is going, looks like, into max space. That is going to be a pretty big loss. This is a T3 air factory. Actually, that nuke did not make it. So a successful anti-nuke. This is a pretty small map, so one anti-nuke can cover a pretty large range. A very massive air fight once again. We see Strat bombers coming in. Looks like going up against this megalith, and it is losing health fast. To be a big loss. One more bomb, and there goes the megalith. Of course, this chunk of mass should belong to the bottom side. One of these cruisers did get killed somehow, and the other one is dying, so without any more air support. And then this is just ridiculous. These are going to be unprotected T3 mass extractors very soon. Here come the Mercies from Skillsat. And if these things are making nukes, which it's not clear that they are, actually they are, both of these are making nukes. If you lose these battleships, that's a huge investment loss. Now we're seeing these Mercies going up against over this hill, get killed by some T3 anti-air. So none of those Mercies make it. And finally, after a long time, it looks like this base from Mental Diversion is destroyed. He has to retreat. Fatty from Freshie with a chicken protecting. And you can see Rock here just continuously launching these. It's GC at 39 kills, still surviving. We are now seeing T3 mobile shields from Seraphim. We saw how powerful T2 shields were mobile. T3 are even better. Power surges from Freshie are very dangerous. Most likely because they're getting so much mass from these dead experimentals. And here's a nice chicken from Mac, is going to kill this base. And this is going to be yeah, I mean, battleships are pretty much pounding anything that walks here though. Yet another megalith from Eisen. He does have an anti-nuke. It is going to be loaded very soon. So very good fighting from the left side here. Although we do have to admit the top side have had pretty big advantage with these battleships and cruisers. And this bottom left corner really just surviving the entire time. Monkey having some trouble with these experimentals, but really not in too much danger the whole time. And this TMD really been a massive story countering this Navy. So much invested in this Navy by Skillset, but really not paying off. And yet another massive air fight. Ubergeek really controlling air. He has been playing air on Settons and playing very well there. Learning from the best, and now he is probably one of the best. Definitely in this game. And you see the chicken here from Mac made a nice turn around this mountain and now getting chased back. This just he's nearly dead, but not afraid given all this shield protection. You can see a whole bunch of Tech 3 shields, and each one of those is 10,000 health. This poor chicken is only at 30,000. It's actually running in the wrong direction. It is running toward these battleships, which will kill it. The chicken turns around, is going to take this fight. It's at 25 kills. If he can get somehow 50 kills, well, it's probably counting on dying in this region, and then after death, it will kill a lot of units. 31 kills now for the chicken. Not causing any damage to this GC yet. But now after death, these chickens cause a lot of damage. This fatty is probably about as far as it can go with this massive arty from raging. You can see once all that arty shoots at once, really knocks down shields very quickly. But we do see a GC from Freshie, and this is going to be a very big development if you can kill all that TMD. These missile ships get basically free shots, and 2 missile ships. But we do see that Monkey is ready for this whole bunch of TMD. But if this GC can kill all this TMD, that's really all that it should be focusing on. This entire base from Monkey is in really bad shape from those missile ships. We do see here this TMD being targeted by the GC. Plus, it's going to get a whole bunch of veterancy. Very susceptible to Mercy Snipe. Now a nuke from a battleship. Yeah, so Ubergeek doing a good job saving those battleships. And now these are going to be sideways. Is it going to be a nuke versus a megalith? It is. Yes, that was a nuke versus a megalith, and the megalith survives but loses a lot of health. So pretty well used nuke. This GC is being sniped by Strat bombers. It'd be much easier to use Mercies under these circumstances. Absolutely no air protection for this GC. GC is going after Monkey. Monkey does have the shield. It is really not possible to kill this ACU with a GC under these circumstances. Plus Monkey can overcharge, he's got the gun. So it's going to be a nice chunk of mass for Monkey, and there comes the overcharge. It really doesn't cause any damage. So total air domination for Ubergeek, really helping his team out. 14 kills, 50 health on this massive chunk of mass. Amazing that it's still alive. No cruiser anymore, so Mercy should be coming. 20 kills for the other missile ship. We do see a chicken now following up this GC. And this chicken does have some protection. But those shields are going to be knocked down very quickly by the arty. A fatty following up the chicken. So a dead chicken here would be very nice. Now we see Monkey actually moving in with his ACU. Might be a little too brave, but probably not. You should see them overcharging this chicken. That was yet an, oh my god, Raging just made Wasa. And he just bombed this chicken, and this chicken is going to die with Monkey overcharging it. That was a total surprise. So Raging making crazy units. You can see the Wasa being chased down by some ASF, but with Ubergeek playing air, this Wasa in very good hands. Very, very safe. So battleships, cruisers, Wasas. Yeah, this is gonna be a bad situation for the bottom side now. We do see some ASF from skills. Gonna chase down this Wasa, but Ubergeek should respond. We do see a fatty on the other side being bombed by Strat bombers plus arty. It would really take a massive amount of shields to do anything. We do see these ships being sniped. We see this Wasa is going to survive. It's nice air protection, and we see a Wasa versus a megalith. A lot of health on that megalith. Still 50 health, 19 kills. A few really nice chunks for Monkey. And a second battleship is going to fire off a nuke. And this should have been dropped such a long time ago. I don't know why these are still alive. This is a bunch of T3 mask extractors from Raging. And this nuke is going sideways. Where is it going? Is Freshy gonna die? That's the question. Freshy does not die. Oh, he does die. Even though he had a very good shield. But dies to a battleship nuke. And we do have an Wasa in the air too. So extremely good play from the stop side here. Not really much the bottom side can do. Here's a nice snipe. Appears to have just missed. But really without Ubergeek's air. And there goes that was actually awesome from Eisen. He just teleported with the laser into Ubergeek's base and took out Ubergeek. This game is not over. Probably is, but that was an excellent move from Eisen. And Eisen should be getting out there, but it looks like he's just suicidal. We just saw Mac get hit by that Wasa. So Mac is gone. Where is that Wasa, by the way? It looks like it may have actually died. It did kill an ACU. And there goes Eisen. So now, mental diversion, amazingly still alive. And we're going to see all these units disappear, so a lot of it is Eisen's base. So it's just skills and mental. Still alive on the bottom side. So big story in this game have been these cruisers completely took the bottom side out for the left side, for the bottom team here. The top side played very well, but you can't really march into Monkey's base supported by Raging and Rock here. They did a lot of spamming plus a lot of sniping and a lot of arty. You can see how far the bottom team got into Monkey's base, but hard to get into a base that has Seraphim shields plus UEF ACUs, overcharges, and of course Ubergeek completely controlling air in this one. Saved these battleships, which did very important nukes. Took back this land for Raging. Big loss for Eisen. And of course a lot of nukes from the top side. And at the end we did see Eisen go suicidal against Ubergeek, took out Ubergeek with a telelaser. We are seeing a donut now being constructed by Curry. And of course, one thing we did see in this game, how powerful Mercies are. They really make any kind of experimental or ACU attack very dangerous against a team that has T2A on. We did see Maverick in the very beginning of the game. It's probably the explosion from Maverick. He just wandered off with his ACU and got sniped immediately. And we did see a couple of these experimentals from the bottom team get sniped by Mercies. And really, T3 Air has been the only proper counter to Mercies in this one. Because Flak, of course, cruisers are also a good counter. Flak has to be way ahead of the Mercies target. Here comes the GC from Curry. See another chicken from Rock. We see another Awasa from Raging. Of course, that Awasa from Raging really came out of nowhere. Killed the chicken that was right next to Monkey. Monkey probably would have overcharged it anyway. And still, these missile ships for skills that completely did not pay off. Massive TMD defense from Monkey. He really needed to do that, given that he was UEF. And it looks like massive Mech Marine spam from Mental Diversion. And this was Awasa versus Mech Marines. Mech Marines bravely charging ahead, but are about to get killed by a chicken anyway. And but yeah, just like was just stated, that was a lot of veterancy. And actually, this Awasa gets knocked down by Skills. Skills not giving up easily. 90, yeah. So this is veterancy both for this GC and that Awasa. Of course, Awasa did get killed. So you can see without Ubergeek, Air completely belongs to Skills. And that might actually be interesting. If it's not going to be interesting because we do see a whole bunch. Actually, this GC is confused. If Skills could have killed that GC, maybe it would have been interesting, but no, it's not. We see yet another nuke from these battleships. And of course, once Eisen left, and there goes Skills base. Once Eisen left, all those anti-nukes, when they're given over to the other player, they don't give the missiles along with the anti-nuke. It appears that Skills has teleported into Raging's base. So T3 ACU is going to attempt to build T1 PDs, but he is getting bombed now. And there goes Skills, goes out with style just like Eisen with a teleport. Mental is left making power storage. He wants to make sure he's got that's one thing I really hate about 3603. You gotta have these in order to have your ACU be able to shoot, and that's really a big problem, especially at the end when things are going crazy. Your ACU basically gets castrated when the ACU should be a badass, which it is. So there goes Mental, last man standing. Very good game.